So I'm really grateful to have Debbie on with me. Debbie's been working through the breakthrough program with me over 8 sessions, and she's very kindly said that she would come on and talk to me about her experience and how she's found it all. So thank you very much, Debbie. I really appreciate it. So how were you, why were you looking for someone? How did you find me? Why were you kind of looking for some help and support?
Hmm. It was interesting because I don't think I was specifically looking for I suppose I was looking for something. There was something
Yeah.
in me that's always yearning for the next thing, the next piece of the
Mm.
puzzle. I had done some therapy to help with or to try and dig into disordered eating patterns,
Hmm.
specifically binge eating, which had raised its head again. This lifelong pattern, and I'd worked with different modalities, recovery things, and different self help things over the years. One day I was scrolling on Facebook and I saw a post of yours specifically around shame,
Okay.
and it had been written about the way that you wrote it about shame just landed on me in such a way. I thought this is a missing piece for me. I'd been
Mm.
speaking about shame for a long time and how I realised that when I had been doing deeper work that everything was coming back to shame. But I was just kind of living this life where I knew that I had shame, but I didn't quite know
Yeah.
what to do with it. I didn't
Why,
quite
what to
know
do?
what to do with
Yeah,
it.
yeah. How it was affecting
I,
you. It's a slippery little sucker, shame as well, isn't it? It doesn't like to be seen or dealt with, really. So that's really interesting.
yeah.
So, Facebook, and so you mentioned about some of your disordered eating. And we've worked through obviously some of the IEMT with the things that are associated with that, things that only and experience. So how did you find the sessions where we focus kind of really the first couple of sessions specifically on IEMT, just because that helps to release a lot out. So how did you find those sessions?
Mm. It was really fascinating to see, and I've been speaking to everybody that I've been talking to about these sessions. I've been describing how they've went for me. So to be asked to try and visualize or locate where, like, if say the sensation of shame is in my body,
Mm,
and then you'll ask me, what age do you think that is, or is there a memory attached, and to bring that memory up strongly, and then when you ask me, how strong is it from a 1 to a 10, and it was usually about a 7 or an 8 for me. I could really feel it in the body and the throat and the gut. And then when we done the eye movements, as soon as my eyes started moving, I could just feel a real tangible change in my body.
mm,
Right away, it would come down to maybe like a 2 or a 3 or a 4, generally a 2 or a 3, I think. And
mm.
I just thought this is happening actually in real time. I could feel the
Yeah,
sensation attached to the memory just diminished to the point where, as it was happening, I was thinking, this isn't as sticky as it was a minute ago. Like, I don't feel as if it's as real,
yeah.
or as painful. I was more detached, but in a healthy way.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, really, really profound to have that immediate effect, and it's happened like that every session that we went in. I've noticed a real strong um, calming down of the sensations
Yeah.
to a real place of relaxation.
Yeah. I think that's what's so lovely about IEMT is that, a lot of people will say like, I'm just going to take the memory away. Like just shit happens, right? Life is shit. And shit happens to us that we can't change. You can't go back and fix it. But what this does is it stops us feeling so emotional about those things that have happened to us. We're kind of separating that the thing that happened when we were younger or even in recent times and just moving away from it a little bit so we can be a little bit more grown up about it. We can be less triggered and a little bit more, yeah, it happened and it was horrible and I can actually work with those sensations now rather than being totally in it and frightened of it or angry or scared or sad. And it's really rapid. It was quite shocking when I did it. And obviously, we've worked a little bit after those sessions. Normally, we start to work with some of the safe and sound protocol. And I think you had some quite big changes through that as well. I did too when I worked through it. So, um, how did you find that? Because obviously, a lot of your sensations have been about understanding why this pattern exists in you, why you chose that, and how shame is really kind of taken over. Do you know what I mean? It's taken over. So, how did that help the SSP? How did that help you?
Mm. I think the most profound thing with that was giving myself the dedicated space to just sit, put the headphones on, and that's time that
Mm,
something's happening in the background. So, firstly, understanding what the safe and sound protocol was, and that
mm,
it did actually have tones in there that was doing something to the nervous
mm.
system, and it wasn't just relaxing music I was listening to. And also feeling the sensations. I was getting a lot of yawning happening at the time, a lot of like that kind of purging of energy, which really
Mm.
doesn't happen to me. I suppose I'm a person that I'm either compulsively doing and
Yeah,
distracting, or even if I'm procrastinating and I'm lying physically still, my mind's fast, or I'm scrolling on my phone and I
yeah,
can't actually, or I resist the ability to just sit and be in that deep rest state. So to be listening to it, to the safe and sound protocol, and to be feeling the big yawns and the
mm.
just a change in the body was really nice and helpful to know that there was a thing happening. So I really looked forward to having those sessions in my daily life to go,
Yeah,
you know, even if I don't have the strength or the discipline to do to sit still any other time, I'm doing it here for these 20 minutes, and that was great.
yeah, that's
Um,
brilliant. And so,
mm,
we're kind of heading towards the end of our sessions, really. But how have you found the whole thing? What changes have you experienced? How has it kind of helped you? Because there was a lot, there was a lot going on for you, and you were managing it really well. But it was just this kind of, there's something in the body that's not quite. Do you know what I mean? I can't quite get at it. So, what kind of changes have you found in the sessions? I think we're up to about six now. So,
mm. I think overall there's been such a validation working with you personally. Like, you meet me on a level where you totally get it. You totally have understood everything that I've been speaking about from your lived experience. There's been so
mhm.
many similarities there, and so to have validation of this is where I'm at. These are the coping mechanisms I'm using. You're like, of course it is. Of course that's a coping mechanism.
Why
And
wouldn't
that's
it?
feeling
Yeah.
like what to be seen like that, and to be like, but no, there is a way forward. So you've really helped me to kind of plot that way forward, but in such a gentle but firm way. Like, there's
Mm.
firmness in you can do this in the morning, you can do this in the evening, and it's things that I knew anyway, but there's a gentleness in it, and that I don't need to go on this next big quest for self-healing. Like, I have the pieces already,
You're
and
already
it's about
doing it. Yeah, you're already doing it. I know. We think
yeah,
like if we just do on this next retreat, but it's the small things, the small micro moments of change, the things that's what changes people's lives. And I always say this, people are like, I haven't got very far and I haven't done this, but actually having the awareness that this is what I do when this happens, this is my pattern, knowing that, having that up forefront and right in front of you. When you're doing it, you're like, oh, I'm doing it again. I'm doing it again. And you can kind of bring yourself back, but without that awareness, and that's where the kind of IEMT and SSP really work well together, is where they give you enough space to recognize this was a really tricky pattern for me, and I know when it's coming up, and actually I can manage it a lot better than not knowing about it. We're never perfect. Like, I think this is what a lot of us are looking for, isn't it? That end goal where we're suddenly fixed and life is just happy. But actually, it's a daily kind of it's a daily kind of practice of, you know, where am I now? And having that sense of looking inwards so that we can change the outwards, if you like. Does that kind of resonate with you?
yeah. I think, like, I've always had this sense that I wanted to fix myself and get away from the version of
Mm,
self that was recreating the pattern. So there was a real lack of tolerance of the
Yeah.
version that I keep ending up in every day. Every day I'll find myself that version, the girl that wants to go and overeat, that wants to binge eat.
Mm.
So really looking at that self-critical part, because I'm reshaming myself if I'm
Yeah.
saying, right,
Yeah.
you can't do that and you need to do this and this. It's like it just backfires every time. So to be like, right, who am I today? Right, okay.
Yeah.
And that's where
Yeah.
the journaling comes
Where
in.
yeah, the
Really,
journaling's incredible. It's a really incredible piece. And I think, we did this little piece for you last time in that reflection of, okay, well, we don't think we've got very far, but actually let's look at what you've done personally for yourself in the 6 months, what's changed for you in the time that you've been with me. And actually, I think it was quite surprising for you when we reflected back. You were like,
yeah.
actually, yeah, I have actually made a lot of changes. And although nothing's perfect, I'm actually heading in the right direction rather than being stuck, and because it's a difficult feeling. So, what would you say is the big kind of takeaway from you from working through this process? What's kind of, yeah, changed up life for you?
There's a real a trust or a feeling of like it's important to have people in our lives that can be a coach or a confidant, whether that's a
Mm-hmm.
paid person or it's a family member or it's somebody in a community group. Like that's a really important piece, is women who help one another, women that
Mm,
you can speak to honestly. And then bringing in all the tools that I've used or that we've worked on together through these 6 months of the journaling, the self-care, the reflecting. Like it's a real parental mothering piece that I
yeah,
really, really
that's
like.
lovely.
It's integral for me, because when I don't take that time, I really am reverting back to that wee
Yeah.
girl that needs,
Yeah,
that
that's
she doesn't have
reactive.
another
That, yeah,
option.
yeah, exactly. It's that the kickoff time. That's when everything kind of starts. Those triggers come up, and it's often just a pattern that we're so used to that it's just really, really hard. And I work with mine every day as well to not be quite so reactive, to be responsive, to meet all of my needs, because actually, that's the hardest part is knowing what those actual needs are and what's the most important thing, and prioritizing and doing it slowly, the slow steady steps, and bringing into that level of awareness. So for you, your life's completely, it's taken some really nice turns towards you stepping up a little bit more, and I know that's been a bit as well, but that's been lovely to see you kind of visualizing a life ahead and taking those daily steps to kind of supporting yourself really, and not being reliant on what was happening before. So it's been so lovely to see the changes, and with a little bit to go. We've still got a couple of sessions left, I think, so that's really nice. But so if I was to ask you, how you felt before the sessions, and how it's kind of changed it for you now, like one word or one sentence for each, before and after.
Before would have been a bit lost,
Mm,
and after, more self-trust,
mm,
that I
lovely.
have the more self-trust that I know if I just pause. I know the path if I pause, yeah.
Yeah, that's lovely. And so, what would you say for someone that's kind of looking at my programs right now and thinking, well, I'm not really too sure what to do?
Mm. I would say have a read. There's so many places that you've poured your experience into your writing, so it's
Mm,
soak that up and see if something chimes. If somebody's watching this, there's obviously something there that's chiming. For me, I booked a one-off session to see how
yeah,
that went, because there
yeah.
were so many pieces in your work, even with bringing in Reiki, that I thought, well, it's not really going to be lost money. I'm still going to have a nice time. I'm going to have a really nice time. So,
I love
and
that. I love it. Yeah, still going to be something amazing, whatever happens. Yeah, I really like that. And I'm pleased you haven't just had a nice time. I'm pleased it's changed so well for you. That's really great. Thank you, Debbie. I really appreciate it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing, how the next couple of sessions go, but much more than that. So thank you so, so much for being here with me.
You're so welcome. Thank you.